All right, strap yourselves in, everyone, because today we are going deep, deep into space sims.
Oh, I love space
Yeah,
sims.
these are, well, space simulation games.
Yeah.
And we've got a ton of user reviews
Oh, wow.
spanning, oh man, decades.
Wow, that's a lot of material.
Like going way back. And some of these are, retro classics, and
Right.
then some are games that are actually still in early access.
Yeah, so we're gonna see kind of the whole spectrum.
The whole, the whole evolution of the genre.
Awesome.
And we're going to be digging into what makes these games tick, like what makes them so captivating.
What keeps people coming back for more, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And maybe we'll even find some of the things that make people rage quit in frustration.
Oh, yeah. That's always interesting to see.
So just think of this as like a warp speed tour, through the history of space sims,
Yeah.
guided by the voices of the players.
I love it. I love it.
So to give you a sense of the journey ahead, we'll be checking out games from different eras, different, times in history.
Okay.
We'll start with Descent, FreeSpace, The Great War
Okay, I've heard of that one.
from 1998.
Yeah, a classic.
Then we're going to jump to the modern, super minimalist VOYAGER.
Minimalist. Okay, I'm intrigued.
And then we've got the early access title, Astrox Imperium, which some people are calling a single-player EVE Online.
Oh, wow. Without the other players.
Exactly, exactly.
Interesting.
And then we're going to take a little trip back in time again to 1997 with Star Trek, Starfleet Academy,
Oh, another
a
classic.
classic. And then we'll finish up this section of the deep dive with Space Crew, which seems to have captured a lot of the bomber crew veterans.
Oh, I can see why there are some similarities there.
So yeah, quite a lineup.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's jump right in with Descent. FreeSpace, The Great War.
Okay, let's do it.
This one is, man, it's just fascinating. It's got just this huge number of really positive reviews.
Really? Even after all these years?
Yeah, even after all these years, it's crazy.
That's impressive.
People are consistently praising the space combat,
Okay.
calling it, the best space combat ever.
Wow.
And a lot of them talk about this feeling of saving mankind.
Oh, so there's like a real sense of, epic scale.
Yeah, against a really formidable enemy.
Wow, I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, I saw this one review. I think it was one review. It might have been more.
Okay.
They were calling the controls legendary.
Legendary. What makes them so legendary?
Apparently, you uses almost every key on the keyboard,
Oh, wow.
sometimes multiple times with different combinations.
That sounds intense.
The reviewer said it took them days to learn.
Days.
But then, get this, it all comes back in minutes, even after years of not playing,
Really?
like riding a space bike, I guess.
That's incredible. It's like muscle memory.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It speaks to the depth of the game, though, right? Like, players are willing to put in that time to learn these complex controls because they're getting something really special out of it.
Yeah, it's not just complexity for the sake of complexity. It gives you this freedom.
Right, nuance in how you fly your ship, that level of control.
Yeah, and this is interesting. I kept seeing this pop up, the FreeSpace open source project.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. A lot of players mention it.
What is that exactly?
So it's a fan-led project, and they've basically kept FreeSpace alive and thriving.
Okay.
Updated the graphics to, like, modern standards,
Wow.
fixed bugs, and added a bunch of new content.
So it's like they've taken this classic game and they've given it a whole new, life, a new lease on life.
Exactly. It's amazing, really inspiring to see a community so dedicated to a game.
Just decades later.
Yeah, decades later, it's incredible.
Okay, so what about the story, though?
Okay, the story.
I keep seeing all these reviews mentioning this, like mysterious enemy.
Oh, yeah, the Shavans, right?
Shivans, yeah, who are they?
So they're a big part of what makes FreeSpace so memorable.
Okay.
They're this ancient, technologically superior force that just kind of appears out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
And they are relentless.
So they're like a serious threat.
Oh, yeah, a serious threat.
Okay.
The reviewers talk about feeling terrified but determined.
Oh, wow. That's a powerful combination.
It is. It's really effective, and it makes you feel like you're really up against impossible odds.
Yeah, and you actually lose your first encounter with them.
Right, no matter what you do.
It doesn't matter what you do, you're going down.
It throws you right into the deep end, sets the stage for this huge struggle.
Okay, so time to switch gears.
All right, where are we going now?
Let's go to something completely different.
Okay.
Let's go to VOYAGER.
Voyager, okay.
This one seems to be all about Like chill vibes,
Chill vibes.
minimalist gameplay.
Okay, so we're trading laser blasts for, like, lo-fi beats. It's interesting.
It's a big contrast to FreeSpace.
Yeah, for sure.
People are describing Voyager as like relaxing,
Relaxing.
almost meditative.
I wouldn't have expected that from a space game.
You launch a dot, right?
A dot.
Yeah, a dot that represents your ship through space.
Okay.
And you use gravity to like slingshot yourself around planets and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
And you're kind of revealing this solar system as you go.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool, actually.
I found this one review. It was really funny.
Oh, yeah.
It said, before I played Voyager, I had a small P, no friends, no Brief, depression, and no life. These things haven't changed, but the game is pretty good.
Well, that's certainly a review.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it does speak to the game's appeal, right? It's for a certain type of player.
Yeah.
Looking for something relaxing, not about action or competition.
Right. Exploration, discovery.
Yeah, and all set to this calming soundtrack. So it might not solve your life problems, but
Might provide a nice little escape.
there you go.
Not all escapes are created equal, though, right?
True, true.
One reviewer was complaining about the orbital mechanics.
Oh, found them frustrating.
Yeah, found them really frustrating.
Yeah, that can happen even in a simple game.
Yeah.
Mastering those mechanics can be its own reward, though.
Right.
You know, you have to use the gravitational pull of the planets to chart your course.
Yeah.
Requires timing, precision, and for some players, that's engaging. And for others, it's frustrating.
Okay, so next up, we've got Asterix Imperium.
All right, this is the one that's still in early access.
Still in early access, yep.
Okay.
But people are already comparing it to EVE Online.
Yeah, that's a pretty big comparison.
It is. It's a big comparison.
EVE Online is notorious for being like this massive, complex online game.
Yeah, notoriously.
So what makes them compare Asterix Imperium to it?
So it seems like it's basically EVE Online, but tailored for a single-player experience.
Oh, so all the complexity and depth, but without the other players.
Without the other players.
That's a really interesting concept.
It is. It's really interesting. You can mine, you can trade, you can build your own ships and stations.
Wow.
You can engage in combat, you can build up your own faction.
It sounds like you can do pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything, but without all the sometimes toxic social interactions that you get with these massive online games.
Yeah, that can be a big turnoff for some people.
Oh, absolutely. I saw one review. It said, no socially dysfunctional, basement-dwelling mom, bring me more pizza rolls. Griefers are there to ruin your day.
That's pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate. And the game's still in early access.
Yeah.
But the developer seems to be really responsive. Like, they're really listening to the community, and they're adding new features all the time.
That's great to hear, especially for an early access game.
And the customization options. The customization options are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
People are loving them. They're talking about tailoring their ships, tailoring their crew, even the universe itself,
Wow.
to their liking.
So it's like a galaxy-sized sandbox.
It's a galaxy-sized sandbox.
That's incredible.
And that's where it really shines. You can be a trader, you can be a pirate, you can be a miner.
It can be anything you want.
Anything you want. It's that freedom of choice that people are really resonating with.
I can see why.
All right, now we're going to go back in time to 1997
Okay, back in time.
for a dose of pure nostalgia, Star Trek. Starfleet Academy.
Classic.
A classic.
Oh, remember that one.
This one seems to hold a special place in a lot of Star Trek fans' hearts.
Yeah, I can see why.
And it's not just for the nostalgia.
What else is it?
So the FMV cutscenes,
FMV, full motion video.
full motion video cutscenes, they actually feature William Shatner, George Takei, and Walter Koenig.
No way, the original cast.
The original cast.
That's amazing.
Reprising their roles from the series.
Wow, so you're playing a Star Trek game and you get to interact with Captain Kirk.
You get to interact with Captain Kirk.
That's incredible. It's like stepping onto the bridge of the Enterprise.
Exactly. They brought the show to life.
Wow.
It's not just the cameos, though.
Right.
The story, the immersive story.
Okay.
And the chance to experience these classic Star Trek scenarios.
Yeah, I bet that's a big draw for fans.
You can command a starship. You can engage in tactical combat.
Oh, cool.
You can make tough decisions that affect the fate of the galaxy.
High stakes.
High stakes. One reviewer, though, was complaining about their crew.
Oh, no. What about them?
Constantly making these unhelpful comments.
Oh, that sounds about right for a starship crew.
Right. And the lack of torpedoes,
Classic.
classic. But even with the dated graphics
Yeah, it's a 1997 game.
and the sometimes clunky controls,
It
the
happens.
story and the Star Trek authenticity, they shine through.
Yeah, for fans, I bet that makes up for a lot.
Absolutely. And speaking of clunky controls,
Yeah, what about them?
it was a different era of game design back then.
Right. Players were expected to put in the time to master the mechanics.
Yeah, that's a recurring theme in a lot of these older games.
It makes sense they didn't have the same kind of, like, tutorials and hand-holding that we have in modern games.
Yeah, you were just kind of thrown in the deep end.
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim. And speaking of, well, I guess another recurring theme,
What's that?
in Star Trek, Starfleet Academy is the difficulty.
Oh, yeah, a lot of reviewers mentioned that.
Steep learning curve.
It's a simulator.
It's a simulator.
So, you know, you got to learn the systems.
One player said, if you've never played a simulator game, the controls will be overly complicated.
Yeah, that tracks.
But you know what? People keep coming back to it.
They do.
Why?
Why do you think?
Because those challenges, once you overcome them, it's such a feeling of accomplishment.
Right, you've earned it.
You've earned your stripes as a Starfleet captain.
That's a powerful feeling.
Really powerful feeling.
And sometimes that journey to becoming a captain involves some setbacks, right?
Oh yeah, this one reviewer, they kept messing up a mission.
Okay.
And they were feeling so inadequate.
Oh, no.
They joked about joining the Maquis.
Joining the Maquis.
Just to prove a point.
That's hilarious.
That's a funny way of putting it, you know?
Yeah, it shows the dedication, though, right?
Yeah, they're not giving up. You're going to master it, even if it means joining the bad guys.
That's commitment.
It's commitment, but those difficulty spikes, once you overcome them,
They make the triumphs even sweeter.
they do. You've earned it through skill.
Perseverance.
And it sounds like Star Trek.
Yeah,
Starfleet Academy, it offers plenty of those satisfying moments.
it does. Whether it's outmaneuvering a Klingon bird of prey or navigating a tricky diplomatic encounter.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is. It's a classic.
Okay, for our final game in this part of the deep dive,
All right, what have we got?
we've got Space Crew.
Space Crew. Okay.
Seems like a lot of the reviewers for this game, they're veterans of bomber crew,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
which is, you know, a similar game but set during World War II.
Right, you're managing a crew on a bomber.
Exactly. So, Space Crew takes that same basic premise.
Okay.
Managing a crew, completing missions.
But in space.
But in space, you're in charge of a spaceship and its crew, and you're defending Earth from alien invaders.
That sounds pretty intense.
It does, and I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to FTL,
Mm.
Faster Than Light.
FTL, yeah, another popular space crew management game.
Exactly, and there are definitely some similarities, especially in the way you manage your crew,
Okay.
how you allocate resources, how you deal with ship damage.
But Space Crew seems to be a bit more forgiving than FTL, I think.
Yeah, in terms of ship damage, yeah.
Maybe because you're not constantly jumping through hyperspace and getting ambushed.
Right. One reviewer actually gave this hilarious piece of advice. They said, force quit the game if you lose the mission to avoid losing all your progress.
Oh, that's a clever workaround.
It's a cheeky workaround, but it speaks to the game's difficulty.
Which some people find a bit punishing.
Yeah, it's not a game for the faint of heart.
For sure, but I did read that they added difficulty options.
Yeah, they added difficulty options.
Since release, which is good.
Which is good. They're listening in the community.
Trying to find that balance, right?
Yeah, between challenge and enjoyment.
It's a tough balance to strike.
It is. But, you know, the real draw of Space Crew.
What is it?
It's the thrill of commanding your own spaceship.
Right, and leading your crew to victory against all odds.
That's the dream, right?
That's the dream.
All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
But when we come back, we're going to delve even deeper into these space sims and see what other insights we can unearth.
I'm looking forward to it. It's interesting, you know, as we go through these reviews,
Yeah.
one thing that keeps striking me
What's that?
is the importance of community.
Community in single-player games.
Yeah. Even in single-player games.
Mm.
Players talk about connecting with others who share their, passion for space.
Right.
And these games, it's like they provide this shared universe.
All right, so they're not just playing alone, they're part of something bigger.
Exactly. Take Descent. FreeSpace, The Great War, for instance.
Yeah, that game is, over 2 decades old?
Over 2 decades old, and it's still got this thriving community.
Yeah, thanks to that FreeSpace open source project.
The FreeSpace open source project, yeah, they're constantly creating new content, sharing tips and strategies, keeping the game alive.
It's amazing
It really is.
how passionate people are about keeping these games going.
Yeah, they're not just consumers, they're collaborators.
They're shaping the future of these virtual worlds.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to older games either.
Right.
Even Astrax Imperium, which is still in early access.
Yeah.
It's fostering a similar sense of community.
Yeah.
Players are excited to share their experiences, offer feedback, help shape the game's development.
That's awesome.
It's inspiring. It really shows the power of games,
Yeah.
right? To bring people together.
Across vast distances.
Absolutely.
So let's shift our focus back to Star Trek. Starfleet Academy.
Okay, Star Trek, yeah.
They were talking about the clunky controls earlier.
Right, great.
But there's another aspect that seems to be both a challenge
Okay.
and a draw.
What's that?
The game's difficulty.
Oh, yeah, the difficulty. That came up a lot in the reviews.
A lot of reviewers highlighted that learning curve.
Yeah, it's a simulator, right?
One player even said, if you're new to simulator games, the controls will feel overwhelmingly complicated.
I can see that.
But there's a real sense of pride in those reviews.
From the people who've mastered it.
Who've mastered it.
Who've overcome those challenges.
Yeah, that's the beauty of games like this.
It's true.
They don't hand you victory, you got to earn it.
You gotta earn it, and that makes those victories so much more satisfying.
And sometimes that journey involves a few setbacks, right?
Oh, for sure.
This one reviewer, I thought it was so funny, they kept failing a mission,
Okay.
and they were feeling so inadequate.
Oh, no.
They said they wanted to join the Maquis,
The Maquis, wow.
just to prove a point.
Like, look how bad I can be.
Exactly.
It's funny, but it also shows the dedication, right?
Yeah, they're not giving up.
They're determined to master this game, even if it means, joining the quote-unquote bad guys.
Those difficulty spikes.
They make the eventual triumphs so much sweeter.
They do. You've earned those victories.
Through skill and perseverance.
And it sounds like Star Trek, Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
It offers plenty of those satisfying moments.
It does, whether it's outmaneuvering a Klingon bird of prey or navigating a complex diplomatic situation. There's a lot to love there.
It's a classic for a reason.
Absolutely.
All right, let's warp over to our final game for this part of the deep dive.
Okay. Sounds good.
Space Crew.
Space Crew. All right. We were talking about how it shares some similarities with FTL. Faster than light.
Right. Both games, you're managing a crew, you're on a spaceship, completing missions, dealing with challenges, ship damage.
Yeah, but it sounds like there are some key differences in how they handle those challenges.
Yeah, one major distinction is the real-time nature of Space Crew.
Oh, real time. So you can't pause?
You can't pause the action. In FTL, you can pause at any time. You can strategize. You can issue commands.
Right.
But in Space Crew, everything's happening in real time. You got to think on your feet.
That sounds intense.
You got to react quickly to whatever the game throws at you.
I can see how that would appeal to some players.
Yeah, and some reviewers actually describe it as feeling frantic.
Frantic, wow.
Especially in the early game when you're still learning all the systems and how to manage everything.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle.
It's a lot to juggle, but that intensity.
That's part of the draw, right?
It is, there's a sense of satisfaction in overcoming those challenges and completing those missions.
Yeah.
Despite all that pressure.
Absolutely. And while Space Crew can be challenging, especially early on, it also seems to be more forgiving than FTL.
Oh, in what way?
In terms of long-term progression.
Okay.
Like, one reviewer pointed out, even if you lose your ship and your crew, you don't lose all your progress.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. You get a new ship with some of your previous upgrades. And your crew members, they retain some of their experience.
Oh, that's cool.
Even though they might lose a few levels.
That's a smart design choice.
It is. It maintains the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Without making it feel unfairly punishing.
You'll feel the consequences.
Exactly.
But you're not starting completely from scratch.
Exactly.
And the developers have been responsive to feedback.
Oh, good.
They've added difficulty options since the game came out.
That's great. It shows that they're listening to the players.
Trying to find that sweet spot.
Between challenge and enjoyment.
You know, as we've been talking about all these games, one thing that's really struck me.
What's that?
They create such a strong sense of immersion.
Immersion, yeah.
Even the ones with simple graphics.
Like Voyager.
Like Voyager. It's like, you're really out there exploring space.
That's the power of good game design.
Yeah.
Creating a believable world.
Drawing players in, making them feel like they're part of something bigger.
And it's not just about the visuals.
Right.
Sound plays a huge role.
Absolutely. Sound is crucial.
We've heard everything from the iconic sounds of Star Trek.
Yeah, those are classic.
To the chill, lo-fi beats of Voyager.
Totally different vibes.
Totally different vibes. But it all adds to that experience.
Sound can transport you,
It
to
can.
another time and place,
It can make you feel the tension of battle.
or just lull you into a state of relaxation
It's an essential element.
of any good space sim.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to shift our focus in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, where are we headed?
We're going to explore how these games have evolved over time,
Oh, cool.
from those pixelated classics to the modern marvels we have today.
I'm looking forward to it.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into the world of space sims.
You know, it's amazing
Yeah.
how these games, even the ones with, technological limitations,
Right.
they all tap into this fascination we have with space.
It's true. It's true.
This desire to explore the unknown, to push boundaries, it's something that resonates with us on a deep level.
It really does.
It's deep in our DNA, I think.
Even in Voyager,
Yeah.
with its simple graphics,
Yeah, the minimalist visuals.
players still talk about this feeling of awe and wonder.
It's true. It's true.
Imagine that, a simple dot on a screen representing a ship,
Yeah.
and it's revealing entire planets and solar systems
Yeah.
as you're navigating these gravitational forces of space.
It really speaks to the power of imagination
It does.
and good game design, right?
Yeah.
It's not always about fancy graphics.
No.
It's about creating an experience that sparks that sense of wonder.
Right, making you feel like you're really out there.
Yeah, exploring the vastness of the cosmos.
And, these games,
Yeah.
they cater to all sorts of space fantasies.
They do.
We've got strategic combat,
In free space.
the thrill of building an empire,
Astrox Imperium.
the classic Star Trek experience,
Starfleet Academy.
the challenges of crew management.
That are
There's
system-
something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
They all speak to different aspects of that desire to explore space.
Yeah, some of us are drawn to the action and adventure.
Right.
Others crave that strategic challenge,
Mhm.
right? Or
Yeah.
the immersive experience of stepping into a beloved fictional universe.
One thing that really stood out to me
Yeah.
was the enduring appeal of dissent. FreeSpace, The Great War.
Oh, yeah, free space.
That story, even after all these years,
Yeah,
it seems to have really stuck with players.
absolutely. The fight against the Shivans, the alliances, the sacrifices, all of that, it
Yeah.
comes together to create this truly compelling narrative.
It does.
And it shows that a well-crafted story can elevate any game.
Yeah.
Even one that's, primarily focused on action,
Right.
gives the experience meaning, depth.
And that's something we see across all these games, right?
Well, do, yeah.
Whether it's the grand space opera, FreeSpace,
Yeah.
the personal journey of a Starfleet cadet,
Yeah.
or the emergent narrative of carving out your own destiny in a sandbox universe.
These games offer more than just entertainment.
Yeah.
They tap into something deeper,
That human desire
to explore,
to discover.
to push the boundaries of what's known.
And in a world that can sometimes feel limited,
Yeah.
predictable.
These games offer a glimpse of infinite possibility
Yeah.
that lie beyond our own planet.
They remind us
Yeah.
there's still so much out there to discover,
Absolutely.
both in the virtual world
And in the real universe.
and who knows, maybe the inspiration sparked by these games
Yeah.
will lead to even greater discoveries in the future.
It's possible.
A lot of today's scientists and engineers, they were probably inspired by the science fiction of their youth.
That makes sense.
Those early experiences with space sims.
Yeah.
Those moments of wonder and imagination.
They might be the seeds of real-world breakthroughs.
It's an amazing thought.
It is.
So to all you aspiring space explorers out there, keep playing, keep dreaming, and keep reaching for the stars.
You never know what you might uncover.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of space sims.
It's been a blast.
It has. We hope you enjoyed the journey.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep your shields up, your lasers charged, and your sense of wonder alive.